Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, amazing Propagandacast. My host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. We're off here to a 1 vs 1 on Crossroads Winter. In the north, it is Baoliang, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Taking on the role here of the 116th Panzerdivision Windhund. In the south, it is Bozkurt AB, fighting for America, freedom, democracy. Taking on the role here of the 6th Armored, we got Jaeger Armor, Jaeger Infantry, and Assault Support here for Baoliang with Triple Infantry versus Bozkurt's Heavy Cavalry. We got Double Infantry and Grenades for him with Triple Infantry there for Baoliang. Double Rifleman there, and of course worth knowing in this case the Grenade Bulletin is for further range in the grenade. So the Rifleman in particular with a bit of veterancy can certainly chuck those grenades very far. And that's certainly something you want to be careful about there. Basically it's veterancy free. It's like suddenly they can just like chuck them at grenade from a range you don't expect, so if you're not fast enough you can quickly lose a unit. So little detail there that certainly can make Bozkurt be a bit of a cheeky and nasty opponent if he remembers to use. I mean, thing to also keep in mind, most average American players never use the grenades, despite them actually being pretty good. They barely ever go for them. Go figure. Gonna use punishment these inside there, going for the fuel pond there. We got the import also spearheading away, looking to basically screen the area here and protect against any American incursions. I suppose could be clearly is looking to head that way. Gonna use M4 moving head. We got another outscore quickly holding up in a set of hedges there. As Baoliang continues his advance there, he's gone for Jaeger Infantry. So we got two doctrines here chosen roughly within the first 2 minutes. Jaeger Infantry versus Heavy Cavalry. Some similarities, but at the same time also some more significant differences. Obviously no heavy armor corners for Baoliang. No combined arms. Mostly more artillery and air support. And a bit more sort of infantry upgrade focus. Whereas for him it's, you know, more lots of ranger call-ins if he uses them in smoke. If he remembers to use it. Rather than they're going for deep flanker, basically looking to sneak it behind Baoliang's push there. Clever maneuver there with Bozkurt AB. In this case, the vessel going to do is got ready to actually deal with such a maneuver here from Bozkurt AB all the way. The nice setup there. He could, you know, try to engage head on Baoliang here. Would have likely been shot to bits, but by doing this, he forces Baoliang to divert forces to protect the rear lines, which also leaves his front line a bit more, you know, vulnerable to a good push there from Bozkurt AB. In this case, though, Baoliang is able to divert two grenadier squads to contain this maneuver, shutting down this flank attempt there by Bozkurt AB. As at the same time, he makes a push for the center where there's still an MG42. He may have hoped the MG42 would be positioned, perhaps, due to the threat about the flank. In this case, Panini spot the other half court there. So with this, Baoliang has for a few clever maneuvers disabled and halted Bozkurt AB's otherwise possibly nice envelopment attempt then perhaps against a lesser experienced player. This could actually work out. But in this case, no dice for Bozkurt AB, only MG42 bullets. So we've got triple grenadiers, one MG42 versus triple rifleman. We've probably got some fast take there for Bozkurt's. Yes, indeed, platoon command post being upgraded. As for Baoliang, he can begin taking up now. He could also add another unit from the current tier. More grenadiers could be an idea. Mortar could be a consideration, though not necessarily right away necessary. Another MG42 would certainly also be powerful versus a heavy infantry build. But in most circumstances, this is the point where you just basically press that button and escalate to battle phase 1. We'll have to see, of course, that. And there we go. We do get that right there for Baoliang. Again, there are other options there, but in most cases, you usually tend to go for 4 units of the Wehrmacht, then you attack. In fact, most armies will build, you know, roughly 3 to 4 units, then take them out. Of course, take a bit faster because, again, with the tech, they do get their 4th unit there, but if you know the Wehrmacht, with the Soviets and so on there, you get roughly 3 to 4, you attack. So, little fun note there. Anyways, Grenadiers Rifleman here, charging ahead here, quickly focusing them down there. Good there by Baoliang. Gonna need some support. Is the machine gun on the move? The machine gun is down here. Oh, actually not down there. It's actually popping up here to try and support that way from an anchor point. Grenadiers pushing back the rifle there with sheer numbers. Pioneer squad here about to get possibly wiped out. We got the lieutenant on the retreat path with his Thompson, and of course the rest of the firepower there on the rifles. And of course the worth came on there. At some point, Rayleigh decided to buff the rifle and sort of close mid-range damage. What it actually effectively did is actually make them much better at wiping out retreating units as well. And this is kind of where, like, I'm slightly, you know, going, hang on, Relic, because, you know, it doesn't just make them better as the Falcon is what it ostensibly does. It also just makes it much harder for the Wehrmacht to fight against them because it decreases even more the margin of area you have against them. Like, if you retreat even slightly wrong there, again, the increased DPS, of course, means you just have a better chance of wiping out units in retreat. So actually makes them very nasty there. Lieutenant Cost with MG42 Bravo Squad flanking in here right now. Baoliang's situation is pretty hairy. He needs to retreat that machine gun by the way. Now, wide open flank there, go rifle pushing in. Gonna do something out, no sign of upgrades. We're probably seeing the G43 once he gets the command points and missions for it. He may likely also call in the Jaeger command squad to add in the 5-man 3G for the free-wielding bigger Grenadier squad there. We got 50 calibers out here for Bozkurt P so far, controlling most of the map here versus Baoliang. Got him encircled within his base, besieged by freedom. Now, of course, one considers some ambush camouflage in the heavy machine gun team, since that's obviously quite good. We got Ralph Grenade off here. Or did we? Sounded like it, but anyways, pull back. And it is worth noting, Bozkurt P has actually now researched grenades. So he's actually now and chucking them back there. So 2 thumbs up to Bozkurt P. Few players you'd actually go for them. I mean, if they actually make sure to have bulletins to make full use of them. So nice work there, Bozkurt P. Nice work. Here's an inspiration to other American players. Just please not the ones playing against me. Gonna do something about here to flank against the Rearlands and the Riflemen. Seizing the southern fuel point there, carrying more points up north. Flanking hard with the Grenadiers. We've got Riflemen holding up there. Jaeger command squad up for Baoliang. Basically just better Grenadier squad in most senses. Like, they started with ambush camouflage. They got 3G for the fleets. They're 5 men. Obviously, you got Panzerfaust, Ralph grenades. Plus, you got smoke grenades. So, and flare, I believe as well. So, I mean, they do pack a bit more punch than you can get one of them. I mean, if a Wehrmacht player could just, you know, call in numerous Jaeger command squads, trust me, they do it. They do it in like the blink of an eye. Basins there was the Jaeger command squad hitting the western munitions. Fuel point right now on the east side, a bit exposed here. Looks like Bozkurt P is going to go straight for at least the car point. That we're denying it. Of course, Baoliang could try and turn the favour here to Bozkurt P and the Americans. Back here, while he has taken up to do anything, there's a small chance he may be planning for a tier 3 rush, though I think that's a bit unlikely. And there you go, grenade exchange here. And Bozkurt P gets ahead of that one. Reasons has then U42 there. Car point hit. Baoliang is now without access to his eastern fuel. Back here, we got nothing further going on there. We got the mechanized command post up. We got Parnese as a rifle squad. Jaeger command squad tracking through the snow on the Mac. Up here, troops seeming forcing to do a light tank on the way, and Baoliang has no counters. I don't even think he's been able to like lay down a telemine, so the suit is going to be a severe pain in Baoliang's plus area there. Rifle squad at least pushed away. Didn't have time to pop a grenade. Jaeger command squad pushing ahead here. He's trying to get on the retreat path of the rifle squad here. Nice push then, of course. The Jaeger command squad with its 3G for defeats and nasty good damage and extra output overall there. He's just going to have a good chance of getting a wipe here. Nice push there by Baoliang. Good realization there. 2 thumbs up. Sharp battle sense. Moving up here, heading for the munitions point as well. Ground the calf point. Good maneuvering there as well by Baoliang. As the Wehrmacht, you have to play aggressively. You have to play focused. You have to let your opponent not get much room to breathe. If you're trying to play the Wehrmacht ostensibly as Relic dictates, which is defensively, you're going to lose a lot of the time because the Wehrmacht is just not balanced for it. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure if they're actually designed for it. The more I think about it. Anyways, I'd like to make a nice copy of a Baoliang. Yeah, command squad heading westwards. So my apologies. And now Baoliang is the one here hitting the calf point, slowing down Bozkurt's resource income. He is going for the Pack 40. Good response here. 5th cover rifle squad hitting these. What's going to do is there. Quick rifle grenade here. Try and predict the path and hitting right into the path there. Didn't quite pan out there. Got the calf point secured. We got Grenadiers Rifleman. G for the face singing out there. Stuart bombarding the Jaeger command squad behind the rocks there. And we got Lieutenant Hill up and then U42. Bozkurt's falls a bit scattered here. So are Baoliang's, but Baoliang's at least in a slightly set of better positions for now. And there he goes. As soon as he sees the Stuart change the target to the Grenadiers, he brashes forward to the Jaeger command squad, pops a Panzerfaust and damages it. And this has been the actual war. A unit rushing force and Panzerfaust squad has just been the end of the studio, just gone, you know, kaboom. But then, the Stuart light tank crew would not have just been standing about idly in front of all the infantry in the X2. They would just gotten the devil out of there. Great in MU42, almost costing Baoliang this machine gun. Apparently, I'm not entirely sure to have him there. There might have been a mistake, or he thought the lieutenant was out of the way, though. That was a close one there. Great grenade there for Bozkurt, and it could have been even greater with a bit of good luck. Depending on perspective, obviously, for Baoliang, that would have been bad luck. Taking up there, he's going to try and push it for armour. No, he goes for Panzer Grenadiers first. Probably not a bad idea either. It does push him to 5 infantry squads, but having lots of infantry is usually not a bad thing. Pioneers are retreating. Oh, cancels it. Seems like there is a bit of uncertainty in Baoliang's head at the moment as to what the correct path here is versus Bozkurt B. Now committing to the 222, the lighter punches wagon, in the hopes that this light vehicle could maybe lead the way out here against the Americans of the 6th Armoured. Bringing heavy Grenadiers and the Pack 40 there. Back here, Pioneers reinforcing. 222 almost done. Heading eastwards over the Grenadiers. The MD-42 and the Jaeger Command Squad, which apparently is meant to have its icon overlap by the MD-42 quite neatly. That's actually slightly impressive. 5th Cavalry there reinforcing troops are healing. Oh, 5th Cavalry ramming. In fact, more machine guns that help deal with the Baoliang's, well, influx of infantry there. Got the M501 stood up. They're 2-2 moving in as well. Not, of course, great as the Stuart, but he can put a bit of pressure on it. More importantly, of course, it allows him to more flexibly deal with the infantry and sort of outmaneuver them and sort of corral them. Plus, it also, I imagine, is just delta there around line of sight, allowing to spot better. So, there's a lot of purpose in getting a 2-2 here. Like, again, it's going to get like in a 1-on-1 situation, hard countered by the Stuart. So that is some nice thinking there about Baoliang. It's certainly a very rare sight to see. I mean, most players in this situation would never ever bother with a 2-2. They just figure instead there's the Stuart. But Baoliang clearly has other things in mind, so that's nice to know. No take-up yet there for Baoliang. Going to use the command going westwards, equipped of course with a lot of G43s. Not going to be useful versus the 5th Cavalry, of course he could try and pop a smoke grenade here. Looks like he isn't. At least he's too slow with it. 2-2 moving in. Oh, there we go, got a kill there, flanking as well. There you go, successfully pushing away the 5th Cavalry there. Nice work by Baoliang, and again we can also hear the usefulness of the 2-2. Oh, grenade range on this of the 8 command squad, causing heavy casualties. Down here, the lieutenant's continuing to take damage as well. Stuart, it's nowhere near to be seen. In fact, it's still damaged up there from some previous encounter. Then you need to retreat the 8 command squad. Be ashamed to lose him. And there you go. Rifle retreat. Lieutenant also retreats. 2-2 at 3 kills. Closing in a into 1. Need to be careful inside the American base. Could lose it here to the 5th Cavalry base. But he's trying to get a wipe in the lieutenant. Baoliang's again aggression. His attempt, his desire for American blood drives him there forwards. And again, it just shows you, like, you have to play the varmint aggressively. Like, you just have to hit. In particular, the Americans also got, like, look for every opportunity you can to get a wipe. So you can understand why he did it. It was obviously risky, but if he'd gotten the wipe, usually it will be worth it. Still up against the Gundis. Gundis need to retreat soon. On their own, they are no match against the Stuart light tank, the M5A1. Take up there finally happening for him. At least we got there. Gundis moving ahead with G43, the Cavalry 43. Quick rock grenade here. Got some damage in there. Rifle will have to soon fall back. And he still managed to deny his opponent fuel as well. We got a second 5th Cavalry here, posing a problem there for Baoliang's going to be a spot with a bit of heavy cover. And the fact the 5th Cavalry's out in the open, they should have a chance here. There we go, killing the gunner. Morton there for Bozkurt here. Interesting pick at this point. Not what I would have figured here, but certainly can help as a support weapon as well, prime with smoke screens if he wants. Northeast Stuart flanking up behind again. Good use of terrain there by Bozkurt versus Baoliang. Pack 4 though gets a good hit. This dude is down to, in fact, roughly half health here. Second shot though misses. Goes off the mark. Tech almost ready here for Baoliang, and he was able to push the Suprema core. Meanwhile, Bozkurt has yet to tech for like medium armor, so that does give, I think, some potential wiggle room there for Baoliang versus Bozkurt. Pack 4 being hold forward against the Stuart. Yeah, command squad as the rifleman. Oh, they're within grenade range, and Bozkurt has certainly shown himself to be a very inveterate thrower of grenades. Okay, that's pretty ambitious by Baoliang. He is now suddenly going for tier 4. Not what I suggest in the situation, but I imagine Baoliang's got a bit more of a plan here than me to what he's doing. And he's, well, a better player than me, so, you know. Go figure. It's still not what I advise to the most players, and I'm still not sure this is a good idea, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, if Baoliang can sort of more consistently and aggressively harass Bozkurt B's fuel, he could pull it off. Or if Bozkurt B is going to go for the Pershing, and this is actually what Baoliang's got to read on, then it could also work out. Like, those I would say the situations there where this can actually work out for Baoliang, but I would say it is pretty risky. He is also going for the second pack 40, so it definitely confirms he is planning a tier 4 move here. With the 116th Panzer Division Winhund. 2-2, they're falling back. They're being swarmed on every side. And there you go, pack 40 done, tier 4 ready. 2-2, they're hitting a mine. Light one, getting his engine damage. Bazooka teaming up against the 2-2. Falling back with that one. Here comes being pushed back the rifle squad. Got the Stuart moving up. Rifleman moving up, seizing the centre victory point over the bazooka team. Then he's good to go. And there we go, we got a Ranger squad. Bozkurt be trying to up the infantry part here of his force to hit Baoliang hard. I think that's a good maneuver. Smokes in here from the lieutenant, very good there on the machine gun. In the south, pushing forwards there. Baoliang's frontage is extended across the entire frontage, but the men of the 116th Panzer Division hold firm against the Americans. Grenades are being flung through the air here, without much of a care there, clearing up rooms. Quite spectacular. In the air command squad, there's down to just one man who was forced to leave the rest of the unit behind, including Oberleutnant Ludwig. Pack 4 lands a great understood light tank to 2 minute support here. MG42 from the north punishment as well here, but there's not a lot of infantry. We've got the Grenadier squad moving in there. Still not some the heavy pants corps there for Baoliang. We should probably get that one going soon at least. MG42 there tearing into the riflemen at point blank range, causing significant casualties amongst the riflemen. Bozkurt is taking up, in fact he has taken up, going for the major, and the West Grenadiers moving up through the cemetery. We got the 5th Cavalry ready to stop the crouch right then and there. Pack 40 this using points. Baoliang is using every resource he has to get points there. And Bozkurt is going to think to have to try and find for his weak spot to hit one of Baoliang's flanks with, or I guess suppress the machine gun because he got caught moving out in the open. Good work there for Bozkurt. Bit awkward for Baoliang there. Pioneers falling back, most likely to set up the heavy Panzer Corps. 2-2 flying away there. Riesen's getting blasted out of an open range squad, pushing forwards. Lacking the munitions for the Thompson. That is, I think, a bit lucky there for Baoliang, since they had the Thompsons. That'd be really bad news for, well, pretty much all of Baoliang's Grenadiers. Up here, the Grenadiers are getting sword to stretch here with the 5th Cavalry. There you go, hey, Panzer Corps for Baoliang. Will he go for a Panther first? Will he go for the Sturmpanzer? If he's feeling confident, he may go for the Sturmpanzer because he's figuring, again, my opponent's not going to push for a Pershing right away. Again, he's seen the ranges, he knows what's coming his way. And it's not, you know, the ice cream van. Because the Sturmpanzer can have more pressure now on the infantry course, blast through it. Of course, if he's more worried about the Pershing, he should go for the Panther, even if he has like double pack 40s. We'll see what he does go for, but you know, there are options there for Baoliang, and again, I think part of it is just A, the large number of resources on the map here compared to others, but also just he has been somewhat effectively able to disrupt Bozkurt's resource incoming, showing he can't easily push for the Pershing here. If again, that is what Bozkurt is pushing for. And of course, you may even hope that by pushing for, say, a fast Sturmpanzer or a fast Panther, you can enforce a response where the Pershing then has to be dropped, at least for the time being. So, and it's these the mind games that happen at the higher ranks of companies too. Pack 40 lands up a hit in the Stuart light tank. Good hit. Takes out the 2-2. Grenadiers are healing, reinforcing. And there we go. We got the Sturmpanzer Fear. Called the Brumba, but that's actually an allied designation. The Germans were just called the Stupa. Short for Sturmpanzer. They like the abbreviations wherever they can get away with them. Stupa was the one for the Sturmpanzer Fear. Like, you read any sort of like memoirs or reports, like they refer to it as the Stupa, not the Brumba. So, little fun fact there. 2-2 moving ahead, he's straight into the 5th cover. Pretty risky there. Particularly doesn't know what's behind it. But he does manage to get past it. Actually, he does take a lot of damage in the process though. And there's a good chance the 2-2 does not make it back home. Got Gunnisek flank from the north. That's a much better move there. He could also try to smoke grenade, I suppose, with the Jaeger command squad from certain range, but oh wait. 6 has managed to push him off there. In the east, Stuart with infantry support here, pushing forward, but they got a double pack front there, halting any advance there by Bozkurt. Very good. Still got the car point. Sturmpanzer Fear out there for Baoliang. Rifle squad. It looks like it's going to be the first target as they push for the car point. And that's going to be one hell of a hit, possibly. There he goes, shoots, and direct hit. Actually doesn't get a single kill. Almost killed someone, but the entire unit is alive. I'm pretty sure any close there would have probably been blown off clean. M36 Jackson tank still on the way there for Bozkurt. So again, we can see here, he might have been planning for the Pershing, he most likely were, but with the arrival of the Sturmpanzer, the Pershing plan has pretty much just been delayed. Because if he tries to go for it now, most of his troops are likely at some point going to explode. Which is obviously not going to be of much use to Bozkurt being his Pershing. So with this maneuver, Baoliang has effectively managed to force his opponent again off the Pershing plan, and in fact slightly punish him for it. So, nice work there, arguably there by Baoliang. Nice work. Even again, it's pretty risky. Again, it's not what I advise, but it's clearly working out, at least for now. Let's see if Bozkurt, of course, can turn this around versus Baoliang and the Germans. Still hasn't managed to upgrade the ranges of the Thompsons. That's definitely been an oversight. He definitely should be doing that as soon as possible. Big push here with the infantry all bunched up, and there it goes. As soon as they see the Sturmpanzer, they all run. They run. My God, it's a Brumba. Technically, Gerald, they call them Sturmpanzers. Shut up, Carl. Oh, he's charging the base. He's just trying to catch all the retreating units. There he goes, shoots. He shoots into the mass of infantry. Only gets 2 kills, but a lot of them, though, are shocked and heavily wounded. And in need of fresh underwear. Bolt firing down, the Sturmpanzer almost knocked out. I mean, the Jackson obviously is a very hard counter to the Sturmpanzer, though, of course, that's why Baoliang has double packs to back it up. Still, Sturmpanzer is now veterans you want. Machine gun opening up there on the rear. So there go, bazooka shot. Wipes them. Kaboom. 150mm high explosive shells. Sends them off to heaven or hell. Pioneers with the reasons here. Rangers obviously have that one very much covered. Bozkurt, the situation is starting to look a bit more awkward here now. Baoliang uses the 2-2 as also, I think, help just control them out a bit better, and he's now in a much more controlled situation. Bozkurt, obviously, while he has a lot of infantry, none of them are Sturmpanzer proof. He doesn't have any anti-tank guns, so now the question is, how does Bozkurt deal with this? Does he go for more Jacksons, Sherman? Does he now transfer for the Pershing? We got Rangers pushing forward here. Still no Thompsons, by the way. I'm guessing more bazookas and, you know, trying to outmaneuver Baoliang is probably the best move because she's charging at the Sturmpanzer so fast. Obviously, unresulted men getting blown to bits. At least almost blown to bits. Rough grenade, or grenade off, they're not rough grenade, more falling down. They'll be taking out the machine gun there off Baoliang. Pack force moving about there. Sturmpanzer moving ahead, machine gun wiped out. A minor loss here for Baoliang and the German army. A linchpin of his forces has been knocked out by the Americans here of the 6th Armored as Baoliang, the 116th Panzer Division, launches the counterattack. Backed up by the Mexica Sturmpanzer 4. Shoots right into the midst of the infantry. Heavy casualties, 4 men shattered, the rest traumatized. As the Sturmpanzer 4 roars forth a high explosive shell that could blot out the sun. If you got hit by it, obviously. I mean, you know, the explosion is going to be relative to the size, but, you know, you're in it. You're not going to be able to see the sun, are you? Need to fix up the Sturmpanzer there. Baoliang can soon go for a Panther. Bozkurt here is definitely struggling here with the Baoliang Sturmpanzer. His tactics of keeping his men close together also strangely being countered by a 150mm high explosive shell. Who would have thought? Captain, a strategy of sticking as close as possible together is not working. They got this thing called high explosives. It turns out to be really good. I suggest we spread out our men more technically to minimize the effect of this Sturmpanzer. Sturmpanzer there, halfway to veteran 2. In fact, more than that, he's starting to bring up a lot of machine guns. I guess to keep the Americans in one place as he bombards them. Sturmpanzer shoots. Minor casualties this time around. We got 209 versus 400. I mean, Bozkurt still has a lot of victory points. He counts the German brief was considering. Guess he might be going for the Pershing after all. Willing to let his men suffer beneath the Sturmpanzer in the hopes that the Pershing can provide him the salvation he needs for America. I'm surprised he's going for Dawn Machine until go cancels one. Looks like he's realising he would actually soon go for a Panther. At which point again the whole Pershing plan's going to hit a bit of another snag. Besides his men getting blown, you know, to bits. Very close way to the rifle and taking casualties here. Jackson shoots here. Penetrates the Sturmpanzer's 100mm thick frontal armour. Here we got Gunners being held by the machine gun fire. Rangers still not being upgraded with any weapons. 2-2 moving up the eastern side. Half 8 to veteran 3. Also got 1 Stuka close air support ready if like any armor becomes an issue. Okay, Bozkurt again not on the Pershing plan after all, going for another Jackson tank destroyer. Hoping that 2 of them comes through. Of course, still the issue with the Pack 40 and Baoliang so far is good at using the Pack 40 and the Sturmpanzer together to somewhat counter the Jackson's presence. So either he has to bait out the Sturmpanzer, he has to like outmaneuver him pretty aggressively and avoid the packs, or he has to hit the packs with smoke and then sort of go for it. So far though, while there has been some smoke, he's not been a huge fan. Over there goes Sturmpanzer receiving the Schützen as well, which the Sturmpanzers did get. There we go, we got a bit of artillery, I think, called in on the packs. Does separate the packs, and the Sturmpanzer here does a try with the Jackson. There goes, shoots, hits the Sturmpanzer there at half health. Can't really see there. Ooh, third shot hits the crumbling house, but not the Sturmpanzer, which backs off. Baoliang can now go for the Panzerkampfwagen 5 if that is so what he desires. Certainly would seem to be what he desires anyway. So we could also just go for another Sturmpanzer and just hope to break Bozkurt's morale with that one. There we go. Panzerkampfwagen 5 on the way there for Baoliang. Paxton engaging the Jacksons. Ooh, that's going to end up with the dead Jackson unless he gets lucky, which he did not. That was a bad call there. The Doppler Pax very much putting a decisive ending to Bozkurt's tank destroyer antics. I mean, the officer still has one, but versus the amount of armor build-up that Baoliang now's got going, and again the Doppler Pax, it's going to look a bit rough there. Sturmpanzer shoots. Light kill then the Lieutenant. El Teniente. Another shot fire. Almost gets a full back. They got 14 kills. Sturmpanzer. Ah, Jackson means straight into the Telemark and the Pax. And with this, Bozkurt Army's armor is completely gone. And even then, it was just tank destroyers. Which now means they have to face off against the Sturmpanzer and the Panther, which with the machine guns can still handle infantry somewhat. So right now, Bozkurt is in a bit of a tight spot, to put it very mildly. I mean, it's definitely not your average strategy that Baoliang executed, but even then. Oh wait, slowly approaching that team, fleeting gates to the ace level. That's of course going to be bad news here. Panther's just hosing through the infantry, shooting them up close here. The Panther tears through Bozkurt's infantry. The 116th Panzer Division stops for no one. American anyways. Units being wiped out here. Bozkurt's forces are being cut to ribbons. A lone 50 cavalry here by the edge of the cemetery successfully holds the munition point out of the hands of the Krauts. Of course, quickly retreats as there's a possibility of being flanked by the Panther and whatnot. We got the captain out of Bozkurt. He's bringing up his own anti-tank guns. He's trying to at least. Oh, the ambulance. He's holding into the safety there where it might get hit from there. Instead, we got the Panther from the other side to drive at it. Again, Baoliang plays aggressively. He is aggression. He's not quite speed, maybe, but he's definitely aggression. Anti-tank and halfway down there. Bazooka team from the Major there lands a shot in the Panther's rearmor. Panther's sidearm was relatively weak, 40 to 50 millimeters. And in fact, they briefly considered moving straight onto the Panther 2 project due to the sidearmor's weakness. That was one of the reasons, but then they basically realized if they just slapped 5 millimeters of armor onto the side there, side armor, it would help a lot versus anti-tank rifles and the likes there. And apparently that was just enough for them to just keep sticking to the Panther 1. So, fun fact there. They did also consider bringing on at least parts of the Panther 2 project. There's the turret, which would have been the Panther model, I think, F. Yeah, the overall modeling of the Panther was a bit weird, but that would have actually been pretty difficult to win because there's barely any room for the crew in that other turret, though apparently would primarily been done to like make better command tanks. But that was a bit uncomfortable turret. There would have always been heavier armor, but very cramped. And I think very difficult to actually load the gun in. Return range moving up. Keep trying to push for the west side. We got the Sturmpanzer moving in there. 17 kills close to the ace level there. Bozkurt's forces setting up there with anti-tank gun. 5th cal there. Obliterated. M1 anti-tank and shoots bounce off the Sturmpanzer's armor. Rangers all charging force. Actually, the Rangers are nowhere to be seen there up a bit further north. There's Sturmpanzer there. Firing away. Taking heavy damage here though. Falling back. Close to the ace level. Bozkurt's attempt here to break through of Baoliang's steel clutches seems to be very slowly progressing, but at the same time it's partly because Baoliang's not doing much of an effort. He's actually tagging the base now with the Panther instead. Oh my. Baoliang, you cheeky bastard. Up by the cemetery, Bozkurt forces are trying to surmount a break when they do succeed. Baoliang orders is meant to fall back, basically deciding it's not worth to get them killed for. Meanwhile, the Panther... Okay, I was about to say, has he not been hitting anything at all down there? That's embarrassing, in particular seeing the Panther's gun was known for being highly accurate. Due to the sheer velocity, it basically meant there's very little drop, so you didn't even need to adjust much for range on it. He's actually calling in smoke. Moving in the pack 40s. Looks like Baoliang's going to try and attack here. Bozkurt's base basically thinking, just taking outwards here, his base is going to be won, but of course, the problem is the American base is pretty difficult to deal with due to all this stuff around it, which actually makes it difficult to hit the base buildings in an easy manner. Just been caught up here, Sturmpanzer. We've got another explosion down here from him, machine guns firing down. Sturmpanzer on the move, possibly about to drive the final nail into Bozkurt's democracy coffin. Artillery calling as well here. There we go. I could see some shots there going in, murdering a lot of Americans. There we go. Up to 27 kills. Americans being splattered all across the base. Being executed. The decapitation strike there by Baoliang leaves Bozkurt to be, well, pretty much headless. So there you go. GG, game over. Rough start here for Baoliang. Was able to turn around for some good maneuvers. And surprise strategy there. The Sturmpanzer backed up by a Panther. Bozkurt's strategy, meanwhile, had a few flaws as the game went on, and Baoliang was able to very much shut that down handily. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I've learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on, tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell enemies. And please remember to press the bell button. And if you like what I do, you can also donate or pledge on Patreon. And of course, a big thanks to those who always support me on Patreon. You're all wonderful, charming, and handsome people. This is Imperial Links and cheers, and see you all tomorrow for a nice episode. Bye.